Have you ever reached that point where your to-do list just seems to keep getting longer and longer, and you never seem to make any progress? Just as you clear one task, another 3 get added. Do you struggle to decide what you should be focusing on next? Are there tasks on your list that never seem to get done? In this short series of videos, we're going to be taking a look at some different time and task management systems that have been designed to help you get back in control of your task list and finally start getting things done. In this video, we'll take a look at a popular system created by Mark Forster. Can it really be that the answer to all of our task list woes is simply to do it tomorrow? In my early days of exploring different time management systems, Mark Forster's Do It Tomorrow was a system I was instantly attracted to for its common sense approach and Mark's clarity of writing, and one I've kept coming back to. If you find yourself inspired to try out Forster's system, I highly recommend reading his book Do It Tomorrow and Other Secrets of Time Management, where he explains the system in more detail than I can go into here. I'll also link to an online article that summarizes the key points from the book and is a resource I find myself coming back to if I want a quick refresher. You'll find that link in the description below. To operate this system, all you need is a diary. Unlike a normal diary in which you record appointments and events, this is a task diary in which you will record tasks that you plan to do on certain days. First off, I'm going to show you the basics of how the system works. It's pretty straightforward before giving you my own thoughts. So, how do you get started? Well, you probably have a whole bunch of tasks that you've not yet done. Go to the back of your diary or find a separate piece of paper and make a list of all these tasks under the heading Backlog. These are tasks you will make a priority to complete some of each day by making them your current initiative. A highlighted task that you will aim to complete every day and as soon as possible. Let's do that now. Open the calendar to the day you'll begin using the system, and on the first line, write Clear Backlog, putting an asterisk before it to indicate it's our current initiative. For your first day, there won't be any other tasks because every task you know about is on the backlog list. So your task list for the day is complete, and you signify this by drawing a line underneath your list to mark it as closed. So throughout the day, you will just work through the backlog list since it's your only task, crossing off items. Now, during the course of the day, you're going to generate or receive more tasks. It could be something that you have generated yourself, an idea you've had, or a follow-on task from something you've completed on your backlog list. Or it could be externally generated, something that you've been asked to do by a colleague or a customer. How do you deal with these? These tasks will fit into 3 different priority orders. Immediate. This is the task you have to stop everything you're doing to focus on. Obviously, you don't write it on your list because you're going to deal with it straight away. So get it done and then return to what you were doing before. Today. This is a task that absolutely does need to be done today, but it doesn't necessarily need immediate attention. In this case, you write the task to be completed on today's task list underneath the closed line. This highlights it as an unplanned task that you do need to complete today. Tomorrow. This is every task that is not immediate or today. This should be the default priority and where you want as many tasks as possible to fall. For all of these tasks, you will turn to tomorrow's diary page and start writing them there. Now, at the end of our first day, we can mark our task to clear backlog as complete. It doesn't mean that we've finished the backlog. Marking a task as complete just means that we've done some work on it. If it is the case that we're now leaving this task and it's not finished, it just means we've generated a new task for tomorrow. So let's write Clear Backlog on tomorrow's page and mark it with an asterisk, since it's still going to be our current initiative until it's cleared. Now we move on to day 2 and repeat the cycle. I like to start the day with a quick review of what I did yesterday and what emails I received and sent, just to make sure I picked up all the tasks that I need to before I close the list off with a line and get to work. Even though it's not the top item, the asterisk next to our task to clear the backlog identifies it as our current initiative, and so we work on the backlog first, obviously leaving enough time to make sure that we're able to complete the other items on the list. If I have a particularly long list on any day, I like to just annotate an amount of time to dedicate to each task along the side of the page so that I can plan how they will fit into my working day. Before I move on to the last few fine details, can I ask you to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you're not already? It really helps us to know you enjoy this type of content and helps us reach more people like yourself. But what about large tasks or projects? What if the task I put on tomorrow's task list is going to take more time than I have? Well, just remember, you don't have to fully complete a task to tick it off your list. You just have to have worked on it. Suppose we're tasked with writing a lengthy report and we know it's going to take at least 2 days to do. The first day we'll work on writing the report for a period of time, making sure we still have enough time to complete our other tasks. And then when we stop, we mark the task off on today's page and write it again onto tomorrow's page, picking it up again the following day. In this way, in smaller daily chunks, we get the report written. At some point, we're also going to empty our backlog list. When that happens, we need to find a new current initiative. I recommend that it's something important, something that improves you or your business, something beyond just your daily responsibilities. But it could be anything you want to get done. Another idea is to mark your current initiative as your frog, the task you're most dreading doing, so that you tackle it first before any other. This is a concept from Brian Tracy's excellent book, Eat That Frog, 21 great ways to get more done in less time, which I also highly recommend. What if you don't manage to tick off all your tasks in any one day? In this case, you take all the unticked tasks and write them on tomorrow's page so that you can deal with them then. But you do want to avoid having to do this if you can. And what if it all becomes too much? You start falling further and further behind, carrying tasks forward day after day. No problem. Just take that backlog of tasks and, did you guess it? Put them on a new backlog list and continue the system as before. Now this deals with the issue in terms of running the system. It stops it getting clogged with old tasks and having to rewrite tasks into tomorrow time after time. But you also need to take a closer look at why this happened and possibly make some changes, because if it happens regularly, it means that you are regularly receiving more work in one day than you can complete in one day. It's no wonder you're falling further behind. Something needs to change. I've really enjoyed using this system. There's a continual sense of satisfaction that you receive in completing all of the tasks each day. And as long as you've got your work balance right, that satisfaction is there every single day as you complete your list. And if you don't have the balance right, you keep carrying forward uncompleted tasks, the system is providing an early warning that your workload is exceeding your available time, and it allows you to take action early before the problem exacerbates. I've also found it makes you more responsive to new tasks, because you will generally start working on all new tasks tomorrow, whereas on a traditional to-do list, it may be much longer before you ever begin. On the downside, the principle of working on a task for a while and then moving on to something else means that you can often end up picking up and putting down large tasks several times, albeit on consecutive days. If you're someone who finds it difficult to get back into a task when they pick it back up, or prefer to completely finish a task in one sitting, you may struggle a little with this. However, the extent to which it will impact you will depend on how many tasks you have on your list at any one time. If you have few tasks each day and can dedicate larger blocks of time to individual tasks, this may not be an issue at all. It's a great system, and especially if you're at a point of overwhelm with your current to-do list, it really does a great job of getting you back in control and on top of your tasks. I often find myself coming back to it when I need more clarity and organization. Have you ever used the Do It Tomorrow system? How did you get on with it? If you've not used it, then tell us what your favorite task management system is in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. A good task management system can really make a difference to how effective you can be. and sometimes just one thing is all it takes. See you on the next one.